Okay, you already saw the title and the thumbnail, you know what this video is all about. I do tend to ramble a lot on this channel, so if it isn't for you, I do apologize. There's something weird in my brain, but I have gathered just shy of 30 deck boxes for us to review and kind of experiment with in this video. And across those 30, we're actually talking a value of over $300. I think it's probably close to $400. Between all the deck boxes in this video. So part of this idea is to actually target the more budget things, which is why there's a lot of quantity. We're actually going to be going in order of the cheapest deck boxes that you can get your hands on, all the way up to not the most expensive, but we're going to be going pretty high. These are just some little examples. Man, doesn't this one look super appealing? I wonder what's inside. It's the most lame box. Okay, I know the intro is still going. My apologies. There's a few things that I forgot to mention that I kind of need to. First off, you guys have already seen how long this video is. So if you're just looking for a deck box with any certain price point, I have added timestamps down below, so you can skip to certain price points if that's all that you care about. My whole style on YouTube is doing unboxings, and I kind of figure things out live, so yes, sometimes my videos run a long time. This was 4 hours of footage for me to edit. Secondly, legal obligation up here. Down in the description, I'm going to have links to Amazon for all of the boxes that are featured in this video, but keep in mind, anything that you purchase through one of those links will give me a kickback, so if you want to support me, you can follow those links down there. If it's not on Amazon, it's basically just not going to be linked down below, but I'll still leave a note, that way you know that it's not on Amazon, you'll have to find it somewhere else. They are going to be listed out in order. Lastly, I decided to go full nerd on this, and I decided to make diagrams of every deck box in this video. I'm new to it. The learning like 2D CAD, this is a new thing for me. I wanted to learn it, so I used this project as an excuse to do it. I'm not an expert, so take my measurements and stuff with a grain of salt, and also keep in mind that for internal height, I had to use a ruler and convert from inches to millimeters. But that way you guys know what you can fit inside of the boxes a bit more clearly than how I'm going to demonstrate it physically. You have like direct measurements along with can you fit this deck box inside of another thing. So yes, believe me, I know my videos are long, so I hope you like that kind of thing. If you don't, timestamps are down below, and let's go back to the video. So if we're starting off at the cheapest, well then I think that means that we're starting off with free in heavy quotes. These are generally, I'm only going to do one of these. Deck boxes that you'll get with random products. In this case, my channel is focused on Pokemon, but if you're a Magic the Gathering person, don't worry. I actually do have a good number of Commander deck boxes in this video as well. Understandably, Commander deck boxes tend to be a bit more expensive, so they're going to be later in the video. But no matter what TCG you play, you probably get your hands on some products that basically just come with a deck box, and for Pokemon, well, yeah, these old booster bundles, and yeah, it's a very basic, like, cardboard paper deck box. A lot of the times on these, the seal can be a little iffy, if you see right there. But I'm mostly doing this to kind of show the testing methodology throughout this video. Now, I've heard from a lot of people that there's nothing wrong with just using the little free deck boxes, and I have to agree, especially if you're doing a lot of decks or you're going on a budget. There's nothing wrong with going with this. Like, this is the first example of you don't have to spend a bunch of money on some, like, $50 deck box in order to go to tournaments. Like, what you get as a little freebie can be perfectly fine. In my opinion, the ones that the Pokemon Company does are actually pretty solid for being pretty basic. So a big part of this video is going to be testing capacity. So this right here is a 60 card deck of single sleeved cards. Then 60 card deck of double sleeved. I should note all of these are using like the official like Pokemon Center sleeves on them. They're standard sleeves. But for the inner sleeves, I did just use Dragon Shield Perfect Fits. However, these are my favorite sleeves. They are sealable, so you have this like flap right here that actually tucks in behind the card, which does make them thicker. So at least, you know, by a small amount, so I did another 60 card deck using those, and interestingly, maybe it's the outer sleeves that I used, but, you know, the compression isn't really doing as much there. But when you compress them, they're about the same height. Then a single-sleeved Commander deck, a double-sleeved Commander deck, once again just using these, and finally, a raw 60 card deck. So obviously this will fit the raw inside. I doubt we're going to need that very much in this video. I have no reason to believe it couldn't fit single sleeve. Let's go ahead and just try the double sleeve 60 card. It is a little snug, but they fit. I wouldn't really go any larger. You could probably do the Dragon Shield sleeved ones in there as well. I say Dragon Shield, it's the sealables, but yeah, fit just fine. My hand is almost big enough to get the whole double sleeve Commander deck in one go. So one of the primary things that we're going to be testing on all of these deck boxes, at least where I can, is going to be, is it going to come up by itself, right? People tend to do shake tests where they hold it upside down and they shake it. I wanted to go a little bit further. See, I was a technician for about 10 years, and I greatly understand from working on arcade machines that vibrations are one of the biggest killers. Vibrations will take a long threaded screw and fully unscrew it over the course of so many years, or even days, on machines that would vibrate more heavily. So just shaking a deck doesn't necessarily do justice to what shaking, vibrating can do. Now, obviously, if this was on here, nothing would ever come apart unless it fell out that way, which, of course, it does. So this is going to be a little bit destructive, because clearly the flap on this thing isn't that good. But I picked up this guy. It was actually for a different project a while back, a project that I kind of abandoned and might go back to eventually. But all it does... You can probably hear that. Yeah, it's literally rattling them off the desk. Come on, rail it. Come on, rail it. It vibrates the hell out of this plate. So, we are literally just going to hold it upside down, hold, and yeah, there's not even a point in testing it on this one, because it literally can't even handle being upside down. Yeah, but the idea, throughout all the deck boxes, we're going to be holding it from not the part that actually opens, holding it right here, and hovering it, and crank this thing up to see how long it can withstand the vibrations without opening. It might seem a little bit excessive, but the whole point is if you're carrying a deck box in like a bag or something like that, right? You don't want your cards flying out and going everywhere. So is it a bit excessive? Yes, but I think it's a more neat way to test things than just going, do they come out? Which is still a fine test. But obviously this thing fell off flying colors. But me saying like putting these things in a bag, well, it's actually a bag that gave me the entire idea for this video. No joke, literally a backpack. And that is specifically this backpack right here, the Spectrum TCG Backpack. Now, don't worry, this video is not sponsored. This is not a sponsor for the video. This is actually sent to me by BCW for free, no strings attached. Somebody at BCW found my channel from a Temu video where I purchased this, and it was actually through my video that they learned that Temu was selling some of their products. Also, hey guy who said that this wasn't an official BCW product, I think this kind of confirms now that it is. I've been waiting to get that one out. But yeah, no money exchanged, no strings attached. They didn't even be like, yeah, put this into a video, whatever. Like, no, it gave me the idea to do this video because people have been wanting me to do more TCG-focused stuff. Well, rather more, like, accessory stuff. I used to always think these, like, around-the-waist straps on backpacks were kind of dumb until I had to use a really heavy one for a period of time, and then I really appreciated it. But yeah, we have just straps here. The side pocket, I believe this is where they wanted you to do, and you could probably do a laptop in there, but it's advertised as doing a card portfolio, so portfolio ones are kind of like a perfect fit to go inside. It's actually what my wife uses for her Dragon Ball cards. I kind of stole it for that. But yeah, that works kind of perfect. This back pocket's really strange. I don't really know what you'd use it for, because there's a hole in the bottom of it. And then there are these. I don't really know what this is made for. Oh, that's an interesting side pocket. We'll get to that here in a minute. I'm guessing, okay, now that's like a little accessory thing. So there is this side piece right here, which is actually made for putting a playmat inside. This is just like the Monster Protectors brand, like, playmat tube. Yeah, I guess slide that in there, pinch that, I guess pull that back. Yeah, that works. Playmat tube right on the side, then you have your binder back here. But, of course, this is a TCG-focused product. God, there's another thing here. So, how exactly is this for the TCG specifically? Well, that's what these flaps are for. You open this up, and you actually have specific deck box storage in here. So you're meant to store up to 6 deck boxes across these, or you could do like, a super wide one here. If you're hold on, I have 2 wide ones. That velcros out, and bam. Or I have a super big one. That velcros out. It's fully modular. But you would want to keep these things in here, specifically because it will keep your deck boxes in place in your bag and not just randomly shuffling around inside. I actually like this more down here than I do in that middle one. Kind of makes more sense to have like a big opening in the middle, I guess. So the little Velcro strap, if you have one that you like really need to hold in or something, I don't know. You also have side storage right here where you could do even more deck boxes, which you could access from the side panel as well, or you can just access from the main inside. Then you have even more room up here, which they don't even advertise for like deck boxes, but if you really need to carry around, what is that, like 8 and 9 decks, like, you need to carry around more than that? You have this upper flap too, which can easily fit multiple pockets and stuff on the inside. This thing is actually kind of crazy. Oh, I just realized there's stuff on the inside of this flap too. Like, again, it's like soft material right here, like almost like accessory pouches. So my dumb idea is throughout this video, I want to see how many of these deck boxes I can stuff inside of this thing. Again, we have close to 30 in this video. And that's with me still taking up the room for this and the binder in the back. Could I stuff this guy just like right here? Oh my god, I can. All right, it's not that pretty, but we have a lot to do, so I'm gonna put you right there in the front pocket. So moving up in price, we have the $2 category. Which to me is just kind of impressive at all that we could be selling plastic, in this case deck boxes, for only $2. I can't imagine that there's a big profit on this. If you can't tell by the price tag, this was actually picked up locally, which means that surely my game store is taking a profit on this, and GameGenic has to take a profit on it. So for only $2, this claims to hold 80 plus cards, and its only real selling feature aside from that is that it is side-loading, and it has a writable strip here. So open this thing up, and yeah, that's a pretty standard plastic deck box. It does come with a single divider, nice and pre-warped for us. I will say it's a little bit rough to open, like it really doesn't like being opened, which is probably a good tell for the shake test. I actually have a feeling this thing is going to pass it pretty well. We do have these ridges back here, so I imagine it'll fold a bit more. I don't want to like snap the plastic, but you could probably bend it a good amount to get it to open up a bit easier. It's 80 plus, so it should have no issue doing double sleeved 60 card deck. Yep, fits perfectly fine. I don't think we're getting a commander in there, but they definitely fit along with our card divider. It is interesting how much this tab sticks up, but as I learned the hard way from my previous video, I guess you're supposed to fold those down, so you fold it down flat like that, and it almost kind of hugs your cards that way. And yeah, it closes shut. Cards. There are cards in here. So what's the purpose of this strip? Wow, you can actually already see it is kind of perforating the writing on it. Like it dried out in different spots. I feel like that would be the whole point of that. It doesn't feel like a different material at all. I don't see what would stop you from just writing on here that would make it any different. Well, it's not really smudging or anything, so that's a good sign. And it's not smudging there. So yeah, it's just the gray strip. You could write anywhere you wanted to on here. But I suppose if you bought it in black and all you had was a black Sharpie and not a silver Sharpie, then yeah, it's still useful. Alright, I have a feeling we're gonna need max power for this guy, so let's crank it up, flip this upside down. Uh-oh. It is starting to fold a little bit. The flap did come down a little bit, but it's not really doing much. It went about 30 seconds with no issues. In case you're wondering if, oh, I'm gripping it too hard. I'm gripping it as lightly as I can to not slide off of it still. I'm gonna try holding it from the sides though, but I have a feeling this thing is just gonna pass. And so far, it's doing perfectly fine. God, this thing is actually really heavy to hold up. Ooh, yeah, you can see it's trying to come open a bit, but it has such a long travel time. It would have to make up. I don't think this thing's gonna come apart easily at all. And then if we tried doing some hard shakes... Oh, yeah, okay. Hard shakes, like very hard shakes. It did come open. So I'd still give it a pretty good pass, especially for being a $2 box. God, my arm, like my wrist is killing me already. Yay, carpal tunnel. I would say it's the best $2 box you can buy, but I don't know of any other $2 box. Now, the vibrations are trying to de-sleeve the card. See how close that one got to the exiting the sleeve? Okay, do I have to go to the main pocket for this one, or I don't think I can, maybe I can stuff it in here with this one? Yeah, that works. It's not pretty, but it works. Alright, so going up to the next tier, which again only has one deck box, we have the $3 tier. Yeah, things start off pretty plain until we get to the premium stuff. I hate to say it, but I lost my little Pikachu knife. I'll find it eventually, but we're just going to use this really old razor for now. But this is the Ultimate Guard 80+, and in this case, yes, it is advertising 80 double-sleeved cards. Now, there isn't really a super predefined, like, legal standard for what you can, for these qualifications or how many cards that they fit. But generally, if you see 80+, what that means is 80 double-sleeved is generally the max capacity. Then less than that if you're not doing double sleeve. That's usually what the plus mean. But that's not stopping any company out there from just writing 80+ when what they mean is it can fit 81 raw, no-sleeved cards, right? But this is by Ultimate Guard, and I gotta say, compared to the Gamegenic one, it feels like thinner, almost cheaper plastic. But I guess that does give it a little bit more flexibility. Once again, it comes with one divider, nice and pre-curved, just like the last one. And unlike the Gamegenic one, it actually comes with a sticker for you to write on, so you can just put your sticker on the box somewhere. I don't know, man. I am a big fan of labeling things, so yeah, I suppose it works. I'm a big label maker person, so personally, that's how I'd be labeling all of these. I suppose that fills the need for a label maker, and I don't hate the sticker, right? Because you can peel it off, and, when you eventually change what's inside of this deck box. In that case, though, I wish it came with more than one. There's one sticker in here. Again, it's $3. There's really not that much room to judge. But I would happily pay, I don't know, $4 for it to come with like 4 or 5 of those. Although, let's be honest, you would probably lose them eventually. But yeah, definitely a little bit flimsier than the Gamegenic, but it's still super solid for what it is. Like, it's still a nice plastic one. I feel like that is also a pretty good clasp on there. It definitely takes a lot of force whenever it hits, like, this point right... Well, where was it? Right about here. You have to kind of do a bit more force to open it up. Kind of the same issue, though, where you kind of want to bend the plastic a good amount to be able to get to your cards easily. But let's go ahead and do our 60 doubles. That actually works perfectly fine. Now, I do believe it said that it can do 100 single-sleeved cards in Ultimate Guard sleeves. Now, it's not saying that those are perfect fits, so standard sleeves should still work fine. So, let's try a single-sleeved Commander deck. And, yeah, okay, yeah, it fits 100 with a little bit of room to spare as well. Just enough room, I'd say, for the divider. Which, yeah, I think I preferred Gamegenic's divider. You have that little tab that folds down, but then you still have a tab to grab onto. When this divider's in here... I mean, yeah, it's doing its job. I'm trying to get it between cards, not inside of a sleeve here. I don't know why I was trying to do it from the harder corner there. It still does divide cards, sure, but there's nothing really to grab onto, so I don't know how I feel about that. Alright, so that thing does kill my arms, so we're just going to see if it passes and it immediately failed. To be fair, they're still being held in, but that won't last long. Anybody else sleeve up a few hundred energies for the sake of testing deck boxes? Yeah, that's what we're gonna do for the sake of saving my arms. If it fails the initial shake test, unless it takes a lot of force, we're not gonna try the vibration. Now that's lame. I have compression gloves for a reason. Go on high and oh, there we go. Vibrate the hell out of it. Wow, okay. Failed a lot faster than the Gamegenic did. Will any cards actually come out? Ooh. The first card is free, but it's not falling yet. It's close. There are 2 cards slipping. Yeah, it's done. Yeah, it's done. Again, for $3, I'd be perfectly happy with it, but I would probably save the $1 and get the Gamegenic, which I think I like more. I should note, I'm not going to be giving a whole lot of comparisons in this video. I want you guys to make your own opinions here. I'm not an expert on these things. I don't even go to tournaments, so I don't have the biggest reason to be using most of the deck boxes that I've purchased $300 here today. Alright, we're basically out of room in that front flap. Let's try... Can I... Yeah, we'll just put it in there. So believe it or not, we are actually skipping all the way past the $5 category, which is where I thought we would at least have a couple deck boxes. Again, we have almost 30 deck boxes in this video, a few of them being more miscellaneous that I'm saving until the end. You'll have to watch until then to find out. One of them is super interesting. But we're actually skipping all the way to the $7 category, and this guy was actually an AliExpress pickup, and there's a reason why I'm showing this. This was only $7.17. And for that price, you actually have a pretty decent deck box here. This one was actually a funny story because I thought it was kind of gross how squished this was. There's actually a different variant where it does take up the full thing, and I just got the bad one. But it's a magnetic enclosure, it's like a Game Boy themed kind of deal, and it has this like kind of microfiber-esque insiding in here, which I'm always a massive fan of. We have double walls here, so it's actually pretty sturdy. It takes a good amount of grip force to really get this thing to flex. So why am I showing you an AliExpress bootleg Pokemon deck box? Because sometimes the best choice you can do is just gamble on something from China, right? Like something generic, rather than trying to rip off an actual brand or not with this game box right here. For only $7, this is actually really premium, and I feel like we're not going to hit anything of this quality again until we hit much higher price points. So going on those like, you know, budget platforms like AliExpress or Temu or whatever, if you're willing to buy from those, I get a lot of people are not, I don't blame you at all, it can actually be a pretty good deal, or even looking for similar things on Amazon. So let's see, the $7 bootleg box can fit, oh yeah, that can easily fit our Commander deck single sleeve. Now I have my doubts here, but we're gonna try the double sleeved Commander deck, and ooh, you know what? It's gonna be a little tight, but it'll 100% fit. Right? Okay, yeah, it is pretty tight, but it does go down. It's real tight. I wouldn't really recommend doing this, but yeah, 100 cards double sleeve do fit inside. Now I have a feeling, well, it does have 2 magnets, it's probably not gonna pass. Ooh, you know what? Okay, it's doing pretty good. Those magnets are holding up. Sorry if the audio got weird there, my PC went to sleep. Let's get the vibration going. And it passed that shake test. I imagine it's gonna pass this too. I don't think that vibration is gonna separate that magnet. What if I kind of do more like that? Like have the magnets fighting against gravity and the vibration? Here, let's kind of do like from the bag. My hands are not touching the top flat, by the way. Man, $7. This guy holds. Again, I don't think I would actually do 100 cards double sleeved. They are squeezed in there pretty tight. I'm not a big fan of that. I don't even know what this originally advertised. I've had this thing for a long time now, but the original listing is gone. But it's just to serve as an example. Sometimes just going with the no-name, even sometimes bootleg in this case, deck boxes can be a steal for the value. All right, we have a bit of a bigger boy, but again, it'll probably just fit right in there. Perfect. I don't like wearing the gloves on camera. It feels weird. So our next one, still in the $7 category. There's a reason I have that little note on here. So this is priced off of Amazon, but it depends on which one you're trying to buy. They all hover around $7. This, well, they might make things for other TCGs as well. This is a Pokemon deck box, but it's not something that comes inside of a actual product. It's actually made by Ultra Pro and sold separately. So I don't know what other franchises they might be making these deck boxes for, but all the ones I've seen follow this same format. It's just a really neat box design with Ultra Pro branding, right? All the ones I see have this like long flap on the top that opens up like so. And you have this like kind of like, you know, not sealed part right here so it can lift up high. And yeah, to be honest, it's not that different from the $2 and $3 deck boxes that we saw. If a little bit more premium, sticking all the way down like that. It's still made out of that flimsy plastic, but it's actually decently thick. This thing's not terrible. Again, I'm never a big fan of like this, like you have to like kind of do it all the way to get to the cards inside. It's not that big of a deal, right? But it's just a weird thing of mine. But the reason why it was like $7 approximately is because depending on the design, they could be higher or lower. I feel like these probably go for about 10 bucks MSRP, but all the ones I was seeing on Amazon were like $6.49, $7.38. All right, let's just go with our standard double sleeve deck of 60 cards. And again, yeah, like see, like that, it's annoying to me. I feel like that's one upside of the Gamegenic and the Ultimate Guard is it was a lot easier to deal with getting the cards in. I guess you could do that, like pull it back and then kind of use the flap right here to kind of sit on the corner. It still does kind of go over the top a little bit. But yeah, that fits pretty snug. There's a little bit of space in there for maybe a couple extra cards. And then, of course, the divider, which I'm just going to throw here in the front because I'm lazy. Again, no flap on the divider, but it does actually stick up a bit, as you can see, so that does make it a bit easier. Like, if you needed to pinch it from between the cards, yeah, it works. Now, this thing does have this long flap right here. I imagine, I have to actually get my fingers between the flap, which is going to make it a little bit weaker, but I'm going to do it all the way back here at the corner. I imagine that this is going to be fine for the shaky test. Yeah, it's holding. Yeah, oh, it actually is starting to open up a little bit. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. That could again just be because of how I have to grip it. But yeah, it's fine. All right, this might be a little bit harder of one to do, but let's try it. Grip the corners right there. And I'm going to have to hit the side of it like that. Yeah, it's holding the cards. Alright, well my hands are numb and it passed. So a little bit more expensive than the other cheaper options that we saw earlier, while being of similar quality, but, you know, you gotta have some fancy branding on it, so I think it's kinda neat. Alright, that one can probably also just fit right here in the top. I promise there's only a handful of these in the video, but we do have another one, this one being, once again, in the $7 category. That is going after aftermarket prices, though. These are just the boxes that they do when Pokemon UPCs. They have gone through some different designs, but this seems to be the one they're going with currently, in our recent, well, relatively recent, Charizard UPC, and it's Velcro. Not a big fan of the Velcro, but it does alleviate the issue of this being too hard to get into. And you actually do have double walled here on the sides, which is, you know, not terrible. You don't have any ugly, like, seams up here as well, again, thanks to the Velcro. I'm just not a big Velcro fan. They go bad over so many uses and dust getting inside and all of that. But I will say, it's made of a thicker plastic than I think any of the plastic deck boxes that we've seen so far. That doesn't mean that it's not still made out of a thin plastic and it's still a bit squishy. Once again, we're going for the double sleeve. Okay, I'll put them in there the right way. Going for the double sleeves. Oh, it's actually a good amount of space. I don't think our single sleeve commander will fit, but it might. Let's try 100 cards single sleeved. Nah, that... You could squeeze it. You could... Yeah, okay. You know what? They fit. It's a little bit of a squeeze. Actually, say less of a squeeze than the squished cards we had earlier, but yeah, I'm not too sure if I necessarily want to go with it, but yeah, it's not bad. I don't think it's gonna like hurt anything. So yeah, 100 cards single sleeved, and then Velcro. I don't think it's even gonna pass the shake test. Let's see. Oh, well, I guess that Velcro is doing its job. The issue is that unless something presses on this, every shake that I do is going to potentially undo another linkage in the Velcro, right? And it's going to eventually, over time, probably pop open, but I don't think it's that much of a concern. I squeeze the Velcro back down. Let's set this back on. Ooh, I'm losing my grip here. This thing's actually, like, really heavy, like steel. Back on high, and I imagine it's gonna pass. We're kind of angle it a little bit, so the gravity does kind of fight it against it a little bit more. Again, I'm not actually touching the flap at all. I'm just touching the sides of the box with 2 fingers, 1 finger on each side. Ooh, look at the cards. They're definitely fighting against the box right now. Like they're definitely forcing their way out very slowly. I'm gonna do a longer test on this one, but I still think it's gonna pass. I don't know, those cards are starting to get exposed a bit more. That or I'm just crazy, which is definitely possible. It is getting a little hard to hold this. I need to kind of reset without setting it down. I need to get my grip back on it again. Alright, it's been about a good minute on the highest setting. I feel like over enough time, that would be enough to actually take it out, but no, it definitely, yeah, there's still, like, that Velcro is still holding on. So I didn't throw this one in the free category because UPCs are very expensive, so it is kind of free, but if you just want the box, you can usually find it for about $7. Oftentimes cheaper if they're not like bundling it with other things. All right, this guy is probably gonna finish it off in the top compartment here. I don't think we're getting anything else to fit in the top, but hey, that's 4 deck boxes we got in just that. So moving up to the $8 category, again, we only have one of these. Well, one in the $8 category. $7.95, basically $8. Ultra Pro. Now, you've probably seen these 100 times. I kind of consider these to be like the budget standard for deck boxes. But at $8, is it really going to be beating our $2 and $3 Gamegenic and our Ultimate Guard, sorry. Again, it still does not have a flimsy. Oh, it's actually a fair amount squishier. Again, yeah, you have the ugly tack welds kind of all throughout it, whatever you want to call those, like plastic welds. Yeah, kind of all throughout, but yeah, if you're going for a budget deck box, you're not really caring that much about looks. Again, you have a little writable thing, more like Ultra Poop. Am I right, brother? Yeah, again, no smearing issues, and it's the same material as the green, so I imagine, you know, writing on the green, it'll be the same thing, no real smudging even right after writing. Okay, so it will actually fit a 60 card double sleeve. It's also, once again, kind of snug. I wouldn't consider it bad, though. I wouldn't see any issue with this, but I would probably go with something a bit larger if you double sleeve. It's all up to your standards at the end of the day. I would probably go a bit larger with a double sleeve, but I would probably stick to single sleeves with this. But it does work fine. They're in there pretty tight. Basic shake test, yeah, immediate fail. And again, failing these things isn't necessarily a super bad thing if you're careful and you're not flipping your deck boxes upside down. It really shouldn't be, sorry about hitting the camera there, shouldn't be that big of a problem. But let's go ahead and set it on high, and go. Yeah, that's opening. That's opening. Yeah. And our first card. Oh, wow, more than one card at once. Wow. Okay, wow, wow, it's still going. It is still opening up. Okay, I think it's done. It'll drop pretty close to half your deck, but, you know, it's fine. I think for the $8 price tag, this is just a no-brainer to not pick up. The other two seemed far better for the price. I should know I am biased against the Ultra Pro, so maybe that's just my bias coming out, but generally I find their products to be lower quality than most other brands, and usually at a higher price point. Plus, I just don't like their inner sleeves. They kind of suck. Okay, hear me out. Maybe, okay, come on, if that can zip closed. Yeah! Alright, $9 category. There's only two. We're gonna do them both at the same time, because they're both basically the same thing, but not. They both sell in the aftermarket for about $9 on eBay, and they are just the deck boxes that come inside of the tournament collections, the Pokemon Ultra Premium Tournament collections, or whatever the hell they call them. They've done some that are like this. Again, we're talking Velcro like the Charizard, but a lot thinner. I wonder if that's even going to fit single sleeve in there. And then we have a side-loading one here, this using the Cyrus as an example. Again, with an interesting divider in here. Yeah, there's no way either of these are going to be fitting double sleeves. Like, look at that. You know what? If you ignore the divider, you might be able to get your double sleeved. Hey, you know what? Cyrus, good on you, buddy. That's actually better than I thought. It is thicker, though, to be fair, than the Professor Juniper one over there. Alright, let's go ahead and do our shake test, or vibrate test. Again, with the Velcro, it surprised me last time, so it'll probably hold again here. Yeah, you can see the cards are definitely fighting against it, but I don't think that Velcro's going anywhere. I think this is an easy pass. Passes the long-term backpack test. However, I very much don't think we're fitting 60 card sleeved in the other one. I don't know, you tell me, you think that looks like it'll fit? If you squeeze hard enough. Now, I will be upset if this one can't fit single. If you can't fit single sleeve, that is extremely disappointing, but surely you can fit single sleeve. Yeah, there we go. Ooh, why aren't you... There we go, alright. I will note it has like an interesting texture on the inside, which might help with its like rigidity, but it is still pretty floppy. Alright, max setting, upside down, go! Again, the Velcro, which I'm not a fan of, does seem to solve the problem with your deck boxes coming apart. It seems to be holding fine. I do think it's bowing a bit more than the other ones that we saw, but again, that Velcro, I don't think it's gonna ever really come apart within a reasonable amount of time. You can kind of get a better view of the Velcro there. Yeah, I'm calling that one a pass as well. I guess we didn't really properly shake test it, but it's fine. Okay, so they might be the smallest ones that we have left. If I can also cram them in the top here, or at least one of them, right? Like if I can get, okay, I don't think, you know what, we're gonna try, no, there's no way that one would work. Let me get the, oh, I'm getting the wrong zipper. All right, if I can still get you to zip shut. All right, that top compartment is done. We might have one later that'll still work in there. Nothing else is fitting in that. I guess it's to the main compartment. I don't think we're fitting all of our deck boxes in here. You know what, let's lay you down flat in there, since you're really thin. So next up we have the $10 category, which once again only has one deck box, this being an Ultra Pro. I have had this for a long time, I don't think as early as 2012. Copyrights can change on these a little bit, I think 2017 is a common one to see on these. But it is the Ultra Pro Dual Deck Box. Now, this one is a little bit interesting. I listed it as $10 because that's generally what I can find it for online. But I can't find it on Amazon or more official sites. But it does seem like you can still find these in card stores occasionally and stuff like that, so Ultra Pro might still be making these. It's a little hard to tell. What I can tell you is I hate it. It is Velcro. I'm not even going to bother doing the shake test. That long of a Velcro strip, it's going to pass. But it is a dual deck box. I don't know, man. I feel like I would rather have two of any of these other, like, you know, cheap plastic boxes than this. Like, yeah, I guess, you know, it might be like, it's not really that much more compact, maybe slightly, but it's just, I don't know, it feels cheap and like the sliding, I don't know, personal opinion, I'm just not a big fan. But let's see if the pockets can fit a double sleeve. They are both clearly the same size pocket, so it shouldn't really matter which one we do. Yep, it can fit a double sleeve. We can try a single sleeve Commander, but I have my doubts. Again, anytime I say Commander, it just means 100 cards. That's all a Commander deck is. Although one of them is going to be your Commander. So generally it's not always a part of the same stack. It depends on how you're trying to store it. Yeah, doesn't really work out too well. So if you're trying to lug around two like 60 card decks, this would definitely do the job. Like it would work fine. And once you actually have a deck in there, we're gonna throw our single sleeve ones in here as well. This is the only one that isn't a bunch of energies. This is a deck that I sleeved a long time ago and I use this as an example deck. So that's your space with just single sleeves. So it's clearly meant for double sleeve, I'll give them that. Unless you're doing like an 80 card deck, you know, depending on the TCG. But it is a way to carry around two decks, which we are going to see other options for that later. I feel like, personally, again, for $10, you could spend $6 and have two separate deck boxes, which, I don't know, I guess this would be easier to carry around. I don't know, it's all up to interpretation if you think you would like this. I find it to be cheap. It is, of course, it is meant to be cheap, but it feels cheaper than a $10 box to me. At least when you take into comparison the other options that are out there. Tell you what, I'm not gonna do the vibration for this one. There's no point, but we can just try. Like it's gonna hold your cards. Again, I've learned the hard way that the Velcro does just kinda work. All right, definitely our biggest boy so far. I think we are just gonna have to take up one of our primary compartments in here. So in the $12 category, we actually have two different options here, both of which are pretty good. So we are kind of now past the cardboard, cheap, flimsy plastic tier. Actually, both of the deck boxes in the $12 tier are much higher quality, at least from what I can tell at a glance. And that basically means in my head, past this, we shouldn't see any more of that materials that we've been seeing up until now. So for $11.99, we have the pretty standard, like well-known, Spectrum Prism, which, yes, this is actually somewhere on here. You may or may not know this. Did they not even print it on here? There we go. It is actually a BCW product. So, yeah, they sent me the backpack. And when they first told me about the backpack, I was like, hey, that actually gives me an idea for a video, as you guys know. And so I was like, hey, it's kind of designed with the Prism decks in mind. Can you send me one of those too? And they said, sure, we'll send you two. So the Prisms and another one we're going to look at later, I consider to be the standard of like a long-term deck box, right? The other ones we've looked at until now, for the most part, have been like things that aren't necessarily going to stand up to the test of time. These are going to be made out of more durable materials. I guess you could almost call these like budget mid-rangers, right? So we do have a clear material here, and this is actually our first deck box that we've done where we do have something translucent. So we're going to get to try out an entirely new type of test. So no magnets or anything. It does just rely on these dimples here to snap shut. Is it just those two? Seems like it. Okay, there are actually dimples right there as well. Very shallow, but it just helps give it a little bit more grip. And again, BCW is not sponsoring me at all. There is no money being exchanged here. It just gave me a cool idea for a video, and I got some cool free stuff. But I definitely like the look of this thing. Let's take a look at the other one, though. I'm always a fan of the clear designs. It removes the need for labeling when you can have, like, your main featured card just visible. Now, this one does advertise polished translucent shell as well, but it looks to be a lot more obscured. In fact, I don't think that's really translucent at all. It might be slightly. Yeah, it is in parts. Like, you can kind of see my fingies through here. I really like the look of this one far more than the other. It is a lot more aesthetically pleasing than this purple here, but personally, well, again, I would prefer the look of this. If I'm going to be storing multiple decks, I'm going to want this so I can just easily see my, like, lead card through it. But it's actually with this that we get to do our first test for something else I wanted to cover in this video. We've been talking about the shaking test, but that's not the only thing you should have to worry about when it comes to card storage. One major concern that you should have, especially when deciding what, like, top loaders and stuff you want to use, is this. This fighting energy might look a little bit washed out to you. My wife was doing some experiments for an art project and had some of these taped in our window for well over half a year. This is what the sun did to it. In well over half of a year, sun, like, facing side, in a window in our house. It is all because of UV. It sucks the color out. You're probably aware. Well, UV protection is actually pretty important, and a lot of the times, depending on which sleeves you're using, your cards aren't actually UV protected. So it would be a nice benefit if your deck box was, right? Now again, it doesn't have to be, that's not a necessity, and I wouldn't necessarily expect it from a lot of the brands either, but it's a really nice bonus. Now there is going to be a thing that we cover later where I do expect UV protection, but that'll come up whenever we get to it. This is a UV test card. You can see this test area right here. As we shine a UV light on the test area, you can see that it already changed color. It will do that. What matters is what happens when we turn the light off. See how dark purple that is? That's because it was exposed directly to UV. Now, I'm not a complete science nerd. I don't know the difference between UV and UVC, but apparently this will react to UV or UVC, but this will only react to UVC, so I don't know what this light is. Yeah, so this one doesn't appear to be UVC, it seems to just be UV. Let's go wait for this thing to fully fade. While we wait, it advertises 100 double-sleeved cards, so let's go ahead and test our Commander double sleeve. Now, I should also note, it doesn't advertise any sort of UV protection, but it could be neat if it does. And, yep, that easily fits them. And that's kind of a big selling point of this, is that your deck is very exposed. You can just kind of leave it like this. It's easy to just grab your deck out of once you open it up. My concern is whenever you squeeze down on it, how easy is it going to open with it being completely filled with these 100 double sleeves here? So, yep, there's our brick, and yeah, you can definitely make out your card. Oh, that actually looks so cool! That looks so cool with the energy in there. It almost perfectly lines up with the prism, like, indent here. That's actually a neat little thing. But you just squeeze, and I will say, it is a little hard to pop open, but that could be a good thing for it not opening by itself. Takes a little bit more force than you would probably expect, but it seems, it takes a bit to open it up. Alright, our test card is clear, so let's go ahead and throw it right there, and see if we have any kind of UV protection in the deck box itself. And that should be plenty of time. Ooh, and it's looking like no UV protection in this box. How often are you going to be storing your deck out in the sun? Well, it's going to happen when transporting. Maybe at tournaments you play at, you have open windows. Actually, a place I used to play, we did back when I was in, like, high school. So it is something to keep in mind, and you could try to find sleeves that do have UV protection, but this deck box isn't going to cut it if this is something that you're going to have out in the sun very often. But it is a very nice hard shell box, which is what we should be expecting for everything going forward, is hard shell past the $10 price point. Alright, let's do our vibration. Crank this bad boy up. And I don't imagine this is going to fail. It is very loud, though, with it being that plastic. Oh, there is a little bit of a seam forming, but nothing bad. Okay, it definitely passed. So I'm going to give it a much harder test. I'm actually going to squeeze the buttons with it vibrating. I'd be shocked if it passed it. Oh my god, it actually is. It's not coming apart. It is a little hard to do it, though. Let me try to, like, swap hands here. I could probably get a better grip. Like, alright, I'm squeezing those things hard now. Wow. Okay. So yeah, huge upside to this thing not being that easy to open. That's the trade-off. You don't want your deck box coming apart in a bag or while you're carrying it or whatever. You have to deal with it being a little bit more forceful to open. It does seem like, and it's because of the indent being here, it's actually, I hate to say it, the BCW, it's kind of better to open this way. Because the card, especially when you're pushing it, you're kind of squeezing the cards together. If this thing is full, your cards are going to want to stay in the top half and not the bottom half. So like if I do it this way, you can see they like to do that. Now that is being very forceful with it, but it's something to keep in mind. So yeah, the way I see it, when you're looking at like these different versions here, this is like form, this is function, and I tend to lean towards function. Yes, this actually looks really cool. I love the design on it. I'd use this. So yes, when BCW asked me, like, hey, what kind of colors do you want for the Prism boxes? I was like, I don't know. I don't really care. Something that fits your branding, so that's probably why they decided to send the two purple. This is specifically designed for the Prism boxes, so they slide in nice and snug inside of here. I don't think we're gonna fit everything inside of this. We are already filling up pretty quick. Alright, so I feel like earlier we kind of established that Gamegenic was kind of the master of the super budget deck boxes. Well, now we get to see what they can do at the $12 price point, the same as the BCW Prisms. We have the Bastion XL, also a 100+, so it should be able to fit our double-sleeved Commander deck. I have notes for all of these, and one of my notes said, read the side of the box. Yeah, that was it. So it says that it fits extra thick inner sleeves, double-sleeved cards. So I'm guessing that, like, yeah, the closable inners, which I'm curious if Gamegenic actually makes, stealables like my Dragon Shields. If they do, I might have to try them out. But if it's saying extra thick inner sleeves, then it should definitely work for the double we have there. Yeah, it converts in a pile holder. Kind of do the same thing with the Prism. Yep, Commander card can be visible at the front. It's also meant to go inside of their dungeon box, so you can put multiple of these in there. Oh, another right-on sticker. Okay, now Gamegenic at the $12 price point. I'm hoping we got more than one sticker. Secure locking mechanism. Well, we will be testing that. Again, no advertisements for UV protection. Again, I wouldn't expect most deck boxes to have them. I'm mostly testing them just because I can. But again, we're going to have something later where I think that becomes a bit more important. And here she is. Oh, and it actually comes with a little token. That's actually a kind of neat little touch. You can tell it's definitely designed for Magic. Yeah, token angel flying for 4. Oh, it's a playmat tube. That's actually kind of sick. That's cool. I'm keeping that. Alright, here she is, and yeah, kind of similar to the BCW Prism, just another clear plastic. Wow, real rough to open. Are you like taped shut or something? How am I supposed to open you? Wow, that is like a really tough open. You have so many of these dots in the side that are meant to hold it shut. Yeah, so it's a hinge. You're not really supposed to just pull it out. You're supposed to kind of push down here to hinge it. At least that seemed to work for me. Like, good God, Gamegenic. Yeah, so like, okay, I was thinking it a bit weird. You almost want to grip it like this and just twist. So you're hinging it back here, and then it kind of closes shut the same way. You hinge it right there, and then snap it shut. So it doesn't even really work that well to just go straight on with it. Like, it's kind of hard to line up going straight on, and then the other tabs get in the way, all the dots. So I think you are literally supposed to hinge it shut like that, which makes sense if it's already full of cards, right? But very simple. Yeah, it comes with one sticker. Not a big fan of that. Again, to me, the whole reason why you would want to use a sticker over using a just writing on the box is because if you change what is inside of the box, then you can change your label. If you write on the box itself, well then you have to like cross out what you already wrote on it and yada yada. Game. It's hard to write at this angle. It's hard to explain how I'm sitting right now. You know, I expect it's paper. Yeah, it's fine. I would just expect more than one for the $12 price point. I will say it is definitely sturdy. I feel like the plastic is certainly thinner than what we saw from the Prism, but it's not really a concern when there still, like, isn't much flex at all. Alright, let's throw our test card in. And again, not expecting it, but it would be neat if it is UV protected. Oh, it might... I'm not seeing it light up a whole lot. Oh, the string was in the way. Yeah, now it's hitting the full blast. It's definitely lighting up, but it seemed like it took a little bit there. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any intentional UV protection, but there might be slight UV protection, just kind of coincidentally with the materials used. I still wouldn't call it UV protected, though. But better than literally nothing, so hey, there's that. Over the past couple of years, it seems like Gamegenic just kind of came out of nowhere, and they came out swinging, man. Like, my LGS has an entire, like, stand just for Gamegenic supplies. Yeah, and, I mean, pretty comfortably, this is the double-sleeved 100-card Commander deck. There is plenty of extra room in here. I got big hands, I'm shoving my whole finger in there with room. And, yeah, like they said, you could literally just do that, have your, side deck there. But yeah, this is where the hinge is actually going to be more important, so you hook it on right there and snap it shut. And, yeah, that works. I feel like the hinge design is also going to work really well for it for, not falling apart as well, because you do kind of have to, like, grip from here and pull up to... I mean, it has a hard snap. There's no way this thing is going to fail the vibration test. There is no way in hell it's failing. We could do a little shake test first, but... yeah, it's fine. I don't think it's failing anything here. Alright, let's get this guy out. Set it back to high, and we are vibrating. What do you know? It's passing. Again, we're seeing a little bit of an opening start, which you've been seeing on a number of these, but it's not struggling at all. We could try it from the back. I don't think that's going to change anything, but we can. Just kind of angle it down a little bit, maybe? Let gravity help. We'll fight against it, rather. Yeah, I don't think there's even a point in doing the test on that, but I feel like I just kind of got to do it on all of them, or I'm going to get yelled at for like, hey, why don't you do it on that one? You're being biased. Yeah, I'm a big fan. This is actually really cool. Gamegenic Bastion. I can probably get you on top of that one. Yeah, that works. Perfect. God, my ear is ringing from that last vibration test. Those plastic ones make it so much louder. So I would argue that this and the Prism are both kind of like the mid-liner, like, more well-known boxes for being a bit higher quality. This one's a bit different, though. So this is going up $1 to the $13 category, the only one in this category. We have the Boulder by Ultimate Guard. It's a 100 plus, but this is an interesting version. Now, don't worry, we have another thing coming up later. If you're like, why do you buy that version? Just wait. But $13 right here. Like, it's the whole thing with this one is that it's returned to Earth. So back here somewhere, yeah, 100 double sleeved cards. Then, yeah, made from 97% renewable resources. Wonder what the last 3% is. Asbestos. Packaging is grass paper, like, made in Germany. This whole thing is made, 97% of it is made out of recycled materials. Not even, like, any tape or anything on it. So if you are very eco-friendly, you might be a fan of this. I will say the actual packaging is really flimsy. I think it's a result of it being made out of grass paper. But it's the packaging, who cares? Thank you for your purchase. You are supporting us to achieve our ecological goals. And there's a little thing that they did. Feel free to read if you're into this kind of thing. But this is just a version of Ultimate Guard's Boulder. And, again, super standard, well-known branding with the Boulder line here. Ultimate Guard, and yeah, they do actually have different colors and patterns and stuff for this, and I just kind of thought this, like, recycled-looking material one was the good one to go with. But pull that off. Wow, really tight seal. And yeah, I mean, it's a very simple deck box for $13. Again, doing the hinge thing with it does kind of work a bit better than just pulling straight up, so kind of doing that. But it does take a pretty good amount of force, which again, could be a good thing for not having your cards spill out everywhere. I haven't really been doing durability testing, but it is recycled material, and the claims that recycled material can be just as strong as non-recycled material, I think is true. That it can be, not that it always is. So I might try just my hand to try and put some force into it, just to see what happens. Oh, I didn't realize both halves are like the exact same shape. Like, that's actually really good for just like on the desk storage. Which I suppose with this one you could kind of do that, but this bottom lip isn't going to allow it to hold as many cards as this side. And the prism would work, but it's just horizontal. But this is definitely the best so far for, like, basically storage trays on the desk while you're playing. Alright, it's at 100 double sleeve. Let's throw them in. Oh, okay, maybe we don't have to do the whole 100 all in one go, you know? Maybe make my life slightly easier by not doing that. Ooh, did it say double sleeve? This is definitely a bit tight for double sleeve. That's fine. It's basically at the max amount of tightness that I would be happy with. Like, any more and I would be a little concerned. But your cards can still basically fall out. Gravity still affects them, so they're not being squeezed. I'm cool with it. But yeah, it definitely fits them. So again, 100 cards, double sleeved. Then, wow, did I really just do that? Bam! There. Hold on, let me get it like that. Bam. Your cards aren't super secure. Kinda do that, and bam, it is closed shut. There. Ooh, I feel like... No, that's definitely still sealed pretty good. It does have like an interesting smoothness to it. I think it's a result of the recycled materials. It feels interesting, like... It's hard to say texture, because it's smooth, but it's hard to describe without actually just feeling it. Which might make it a little bit harder to keep a grip on while I do this. I don't think it's gonna fail, but you never know. We're gonna go for a bit of a long test on it. And again, pretty quickly, you can see a seam start to open up, but it's definitely holding itself shut. I gotta say, I feel like with enough time, this would actually come apart, but it's not failing the test as of yet. I feel like it would take a very long time on this thing, longer than would be ever realistic. For that to fail. But yeah, you have like your return to Earth branding on the front, so whenever you're at your tournaments, you can tell people that I care about the planet. Alright, at the risk of self-injury, we're gonna squeeze. Alright, I've been squeezing for a bit, trying to see if I can't cause damage. Ooh! I did cause a warp, and to be fair, I haven't been doing this with the others. I can definitely test it out on something else here in a little bit. Again, we'll get to it. But that definitely did warp, but it also kind of pulls out pretty easily as well. Again, that was a lot of force I put into this guy. You can kind of like see the line in my thumb where it was pressing against it. So BCW, the person I was talking with, did specifically say this was also designed with Boulder as an example in mind. So I think we're just going to be able to cram it. It's going to be real tight right here. So we got 2 deck boxes right there. That is stuffed. So then, jumping up $2 from the $13 category to the $15, we have another Boulder. Yeah, I did another one of theirs. This is from their Katana line, which I think Katana has like a line of sleeves that people are really big on. It's another Boulder. It should be a very similar design, just not the whole recycled thing going. Which it is interesting. These do come, when you see this price tag, it means I bought it from my LGS. Assuming that this is the MSRP, that it's $2 cheaper for the recycled material one, that's actually kind of impressive and kind of a good thing that the more eco-friendly one is also the cheaper one to pick up. But yeah, same general advertising, 100 double-sleeved cards, and sealed in plastic and not cardboard or paper. they could have still done like a paper box for this guy. Ooh, okay, I kind of like this material. I don't know what you're doing, Ultimate Guard, but I'm a fan of what you're doing with your boulders. And again, we're looking at the same thing here, just a different material. Yeah, same exact like locking mech setup here. Maybe a little bit less spacing. Interesting. Oh no, I was thinking of the wrong one. I was thinking of the Bastion. No, okay, yeah, that's correct. Yeah, I would assume it would have the same shape going on. And then just like the other, it's just really easy to kind of snap on there. So again, we do have a translucent thing here, so we can see your card at the front. It is this like frosted material, which I've actually seen some brands specifically calling out on their marketing that it doesn't use frosted. It's like, it's clear, it's not frosted. Like, so I'm guessing some people really don't like this. I don't blame them entirely, but I feel like the frosted look can look really clean. I understand wanting to see your front card, but frosted doesn't mean that you can't see your front card. We can clearly see what this is. I get if it's the thing that you're not into, but this actually looks really cool, and the design on the top is actually really neat. Look at that. Yeah, okay. I'm not going to do the vibration test. It's the same thing as the other, exact same locking mechanism. Yeah. But let's see if it bends the same way that the recyclable one did, if it gets that same warping issue. If anything, it feels like this one would snap before it actually really bent. Again, crazy amount of force right now. And no, right back to shape. So, yes, the non-recycled version is more durable, at least based on that little dumb test right there. Is it that much of a difference? Not really. And you're saving $2 with the other version. I think it all comes down to what are your priorities, right? Are you an eco-friendly person? Then you'd probably go for the other one. If you're trying to save money, you'd probably go for the other one. But if you want to have that slight bit more durability and you like the look of this one more, this is the one to go with. And I gotta say, I definitely do like the look of this one more. This katana line is actually really, really clean. I love the run of water deck in this guy. And yeah, size comparison, they are the same thing. Are you surprised? I feel like we're gonna get better seal on that than we like. I can get my fingernail in the cracks of that, and like that's fully closed. This is definitely a far tighter seal on this guy. Hi, it's Future Seeker. I forgot to do a UV test, so we're doing it now. I apologize if things feel like they're out of order. It's because they are. But it does look like it failed pretty quickly. All right, our second boulder we can probably do right... Oh my god, that is so tight. Right in here. So still in the $15 category, we are now moving on, technically a penny less, $14.99. We have the Quiver Nexus. Now, this thing has just, like, some of the most crazy marketing on Amazon. Like, their marketing guy put a lot of work into trying to sell this guy to you. And I gotta admit, the box design is actually kind of interesting as well. It feels like a more vintage kind of design here, like something you expect from, like, a car brand, or, like, some, like, Marlboro cigarettes, like, merchandise kind of box. I had an adult father figure in my life as a young child who smoked like crazy, and you could earn points for buying cigarettes, and he would redeem things. And it just kind of reminds me of, like, the packaging kind of reminds me of some of the stuff he would get out of that. So, general overview, 100 plus, so again, should fit a double-sleeved commander deck. Big claim to fame is that you have magnets, so you can actually attach the decks to each other. Now, why? I guess if you really wanted to. I imagine if you took two of them together, both full of cards, they would probably fall apart if you tried to carry them like that. I think for display purposes, like, they would all be perfectly lined up, right? You don't have to, like, try and line them up perfectly on the shelf. Aside from that, I told you, they go kind of crazy on their marketing. So they even show, like, yes, you can use it as a card holder, like, on the desk. But, like, cool blocky design! Again, there is a point where you're struggling to sell out marketing features, my guy. This thing could be the best thing we see today. I can still laugh at the just overblown marketing. 360 modular system. Okay, there's an asterisk. What? Oh, no, that's a degree sign. What do you mean by 360 modular system? Tag zones to organize, colors, mixing possibilities. Yeah, I actually got a screenshot for you. So they advertise that you can take the top half and the bottom half of these and buy two of them and swap them. Too bad you can't do that with any other deck box, right? Like, no other deck box allows you to buy two different colors. Again, just way overdone marketing, but it's like, oh, okay, I'm a fan of this packaging here. So what is this? One way to open the securely closed deck box. Hold it up in your hands and push. Yeah, open it. Thank you. Okay, same thing on both sides. Yeah. Okay. I guess pull that little flap out and we can slide out the deck box, and it is frosted. Oh, so they're not magnets. Okay, so they would connect to each other through these. So you have holes in one side, and then I guess you have like innies and outies here. But it pops open pretty easy, and okay, immediately Quiver, which although Quiver is to my knowledge, Quiver is the brand, Nexus is the name of the box. You sold me. All right, you're beating Game Genic here. I'm a little bit concerned at the glossiness of these. Man, they're just throwing so much stuff at you. Thank you for trusting Nexus. We've crafted your Nexus deck block with care to offer unmatched protection and organization for your cards. We're honored to be a part of your gaming experience. Okay, so little bit of flex to it, nothing crazy. Again, decent hard shell. It is frosted. I know some people don't care for that, but it seems fine to me. So yeah, I guess we can go ahead and test out. So we have our dimple side here, and yeah, they do kind of push into each other, but like, how well? Okay, I'll give them that. They do lock in okay. Again, if you have two full decks and you have both deck boxes like side by side, they're not going to stay that way. The coal blocky design is kind of what kills it for me, if I'm being honest. I don't think it looks that good. Like, to be 100% honest with you, it's not like visually appealing to me. Maybe I'm alone in that. This could be like a good Digimon kind of thing, maybe. You know, feels more like techie. But yeah, just kind of a hinge thing there. Pretty simple. I will note there are a lot of places you can put a sticker here, 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 you put a sticker on the bottom, you can put a sticker on the top, and you can put one here, but it's probably not going to stick as well, because there's a Quiver logo that is actually embossed right there. Let's just go ahead and do, oh, what? Look at the size of the sticker compared to the slot you put them in. Oh, I thought they would be, like, matched, so it would be, like, it would line up perfectly with it. Now, if you're not super careful with how you place it, yeah, it's gonna look a little goofy. Nexus, Nexus. Okay, so again, I'm worried about the glossy. I do have some decent quality markers. I'm just using a Sharpie that most people are gonna be using on these. Okay, ooh, yeah, it's definitely rubbing off. If I do like a little bit more pressure, yeah, that's not gonna look good after so long. I really wish they would have used paper. Alright, well, they said 100 double sleeve. Let's throw 100 double sleeve in here. Alright, it's definitely very tight, but once again, it's not so tight that they're being squeezed. So, not a bad thing. I have no complaints as long as they're not being squeezed super hard. There is a bit of spare space in there. Yeah, it fits them. Let's go ahead and throw the top on. I also don't imagine this one's going to fail the test. Those lock in pretty good, but we're going to do it. Oh, and we didn't UV test the last one. Oh, I'm dumb. All right, this is the bottom. So crank this boy up and go. Again, I don't see it failing. It's going to hold. These hinge designs seem to work really well for not coming apart. Yeah, I'd say anything with a dimple isn't really gonna fall apart. Actual shake test, why not? Yeah, we're good. Alright, let's do our UV test. If there's anything on that side, we have to ignore it. It can't fully fit inside, and yeah, it's already... Yeah, not really UV protected. I mean, my thumb is UV protected. What do you know? I'll say it is like slightly bulkier than the Boulder, but very, very comparable. Like, just like it sticks out like slightly. I guess we can do size comparisons for the others here. Yeah, fair amount larger on the Bastion. And yeah, again, super comparable with the Prism there. All right, we have our Nexus, easy spot right there. Now, as opposed to the Nexus, which had a crazy amount of marketing, we're going to move up to the $17 category now, so $2 higher. And we finally get to this very blank box from the beginning of the video, and boy do I mean a blank box. It doesn't even tell you the name of the brand on the top. Now this bad boy claims to hold 150 plus, but from what I was seeing in the reviews, they're actually underselling themselves here. This very much screams a generic Amazon brand that could disappear in a year. Or if it does well, they start, you know, they might make it into like a big brand, whatever company is actually producing these. But this, inside of this plastic here, which I don't feel like was entirely necessary, is the Aegis Guardian. And as you can probably tell, it is a dual box design. Kind of nice looking logo. I kind of like how they did like the AE there, and it kind of allows it to fit in this little circle. I kind of like that. A little attention to detail. Good designer. Wow, those are some strong magnets. Ooh, that's ugly. Okay, that is just paper. I was gonna say, what is this brown? Yeah, that comes right off. Impressive, like, impressively strong magnets on this guy. Is it just one magnet, I wonder? Huh. Like, it actually takes some force if you don't go in right here at that little circle. Again, this guy is going to pass the shake test real well. But we do have our Aegis Guardian thing kind of embossed in the lid right here. And yeah, so it's a very interesting design. You do have this like microfiber kind of flocked material on the inside. We actually, 2-card dividers. That's how you know we're going up in value. Are you pre-curved? Yeah, a little bit of pre-curve, but it's kind of interesting. So if you have one deck in this side, you only have to lift open the one flap and pull out your deck. And then if you have your other deck in this side, you can lift this side up and pull out your deck. But then you actually have this little tray. Now, without the tray, you could store extra cards in here, or maybe like a 60-card unsleeved would definitely fit. Could we perhaps even fit a 60-card sleeved in the dice tray part? Oh my god, you can. Yeah, they definitely undersold themselves on what this thing can fit. It's a little tight, but that fits an entire 60-card single sleeve deck. Like, that's pretty impressive if you decide to go without the dice tray. Although, a little hard to get out. Yeah, maybe don't do that. Now again, my channel is always Pokemon focused, so we're just gonna pour some Pokemon dice in here and make sure that they aren't gonna fall out of the hole. Because Pokemon dice do tend to get a little small. The dice tray in, there is that little hole right there, so let's flip it. Oh, okay, well, the whole box tried to fall out on me. No, okay. Maybe it's enough shaking. Maybe, I don't think I have to do a shake test for this. No, yeah, barely stays in. Oh, no, wait, that's coming out. Come on. Yeah. Again, shouldn't really be a big concern, though. Little dice tray, it works fine. You could fit a lot of dice in here. All right, 60 cards, double sleeved right in here. And yeah, they definitely fit perfectly fine. Yeah, even with the dice tray in there, you can actually get your finger in there and pull them out. So again, you really shouldn't store another deck in there, like a single sleeve deck in there, but you can, right? It's all hard to get them out. But right here, like, that's easy to get to. You got another little pinch slot there. Yeah, so you have a 60-card deck here, and then right on this side, double sleeved Commander deck. Go inside, buddy. Oh, wow, that is plenty of room. Did I get the right one? Yeah, that's the double sleeve. Wow. Okay, plenty of extra space in there. This thing is pretty impressive. It is $17. Keep that in mind. This is the highest price point we've reached so far, obviously. We're going in price order. But we are looking at double-walled. You know, here, and even between each of these, we're looking at double walls. So it's definitely going to be a very sturdy box. And again, you have the built-in dice tray, which is a huge selling point. Somehow you ended up with 2 fighting energies right on the front. Getting your deck out of here is obviously going to be pretty easy, but if for some reason you fill this whole guy up, you go past that 100 cards and you stuff this, it's going to be pretty hard to get the cards out. Again, you might have to tilt it upside down like I had to do when I had a deck in here. So you could run 3 decks in this one box, all in their own compartments, but one of them would have to only be single-sleeved, not doubled. So I think 2 decks is plenty, right? You have a commander deck, and you have a 60-card deck, and then you have a dice tray. You even could use a little divider in here and actually carry 3 decks. You could do double sleeve 60, double sleeve 60, double sleeve 60, because there is clearly enough space in here for another 10 cards. Or 20, I suppose. Yeah, there's plenty of room for another 20 cards. For being a brand I have never heard of, and I'm guessing is just like a generic Amazon brand, it doesn't seem that bad. And I do apologize to Aegis Guardian if you are an established, not this generic brand. I'm kind of just going off of context clues here. But, basic shake test that's gonna do fine. Let's get the vibrator out. Okay, phrasing. Alright, maximum. I kind of shook the whole desk there for a second. Alright, I need to get better. It's kind of hard to grip this whole guy. Again, those are strong magnets. I don't think this is gonna go anywhere. Yeah, it's fine. Again, at this price point, if any deck fails the shake test, I will be very upset. But again, those are some strong magnets in this guy, and the chance of them sliding all the way up, right? Like that. Oh yeah, there are 3 magnets. You can see the third one right there. That explains why it's so strong. This is impressive. This is an impressive little $17 box. Well, little. I think yeah, it's the biggest one so far. Hint, hint, wink, wink. All right, boys. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if we're getting this guy inside. I mean, it's designed for deck boxes of this size. All right, let's turn it around, open up our little side pocket to get easier access, and we might... Oh, that's going to be so So I don't think it's, no. Alright, our Aegis Guardian does not fit with all of the other things that we already have stuffed in here. I do wonder if it would still fit in this little square. Again, you can take out these walls, but it's really good for the extra padding. I don't think this big boy... Nah, you'd have to take out one of these walls, and it would... I imagine it would work fine, even with the other deck boxes in here, because these are actually pretty thick. It would probably fit, but he's not going. Alright, on to the $20 category, and this one is once again for my Pokemon people, majority of my audience. I apologize if you're here for Magic or whatever else. I recently did a video where I pulled this guy. It's a Chinese product in which they give you these little mini tins, and it's clearly designed to be kind of like a deck box, right? But it's really thin. Like, it's not like the mini tins that we have where there's no way you could fit a deck inside. You actually can in here. So I priced this at $20 because if you're trying to buy just the tin on eBay, you can find it for about 20 bucks. I don't recommend doing that. Unless you're trying to buy a specific one, because there are 8 different variants. If you're okay with getting one at random, you can get the full sealed box for pretty close to the same price and get the extra goodies. Like, you get sleeves that are fitting for the tin and all of that. But if we slide it, yeah, it's actually a slide opening. Has this plastic liner on the inside I'm a fan of. Well, yes, a raw 60 card deck will fit inside. I'm trying to find a reason for this thing to exist, man. I just like the way it looks. But the way I see it is on a budget, if you're just buying some Chinese product, right? And, you know, you could keep your dice right in here, and there's your deck. I feel like even if you're on an extreme budget, like even for a child, like if you're a parent watching this, get your kids some sleeves, man. Like, teach them to take care of their stuff. But you could do that. I am curious if it can fit sleeved cards. If it can't, I don't think this thing even really qualifies as a usable deck box. Yeah, I really don't think it's going to, but we're going to try. Single sleeve, yeah, I don't think that's going to work. Look, if we squeeze them really hard... it's not gonna work. It's a neat little storage thing. I don't think this thing really qualifies as a deck box. If I didn't cut this out of the video, it's just because I still thought it was funny enough to leave in, but yeah. Okay, so we kind of gave up on doing this top flap earlier, but this thing is so small. Like, maybe we can still get it to close up? Oh, I'm having my doubts. No, that's not gonna work. Maybe, actually, there is enough of an inside. Okay, I don't know why I didn't think about that. Yeah, okay, perfect. That was another easy one. Alright, last hyper-specific Pokemon box of the entire video. We got this guy. Again, we're talking a Chinese product. These things were actually really popular, and I kind of want to get more of them. These came inside of a box with some packs and stuff. And again, it's a mystery box as to which one you're going to get. And you might notice, this is the $20 category. Why does this say 20 to 150? Well, it's a mystery box. There are some that are more rare than others. If you didn't watch that video, this what happens is the only one of these that I ever opened, and I happened to get the one that hits that end of the price point. The Magikarp is the chase. I didn't even know it was worth that much. It does come with a nifty little magnet, though, which I suppose you could probably use as a coin. I don't think you really should. Can't really, you know, probably weighted. But this is an all-metal deck box, which is very hard to open, which is why I'm not even going to bother doing a shake test on it. Like, I struggle to open this thing literally every time. It does come with some dividers, but I never actually did it in the original video, so I'm mostly including it just because maybe you want a metal deck box. I think this thing is actually really cool. You could do double storage on the table with it, but I don't know how much I'd want to use that. But this one, you know, on the desk works perfectly fine. Very much like the hinged boxes, you have this like angled slope, but of course this is all metal here. Ooh, real easy to bend. I'm gonna stop doing that promptly. I think this guy's got some space. We're gonna try a single sleeve commander. And yeah, okay. 100 card commander deck right here, single sleeved. Not fit in a double sleeve, but yeah, they go inside. Literally, again, no reason to do a shake test on this guy. It is like the hardest thing to open in my house, man. Like these things really grip on. But I just thought it's a really cool design, and if you're looking for deck boxes and you're into Pokemon, you might be interested in trying to find one of these. Again, they're like... Oh god, now I have to open it again. It's like a mystery box thing, but you can buy the tins, the deck boxes by themselves for about 20 bucks on eBay. Oh, I took the cards out and closed it up and forgot to put these in. I'm getting better at opening it, though. I'm kind of learning a bit of a trick with it. That's not like that crazy hard, but too hard for a deck box to open, if you get what I mean. All right, well, that one should be pretty easy. Literally just like slap it in right here. Kind of give it a little bit of a turn. Yeah, perfect. We still have 2 more to go in the $20 category, and this one is very gimmicky. Now, as it says here, this is a Commander deck box, and if you're not into Magic, this deck box is basically useless to you. You might find some uses for it, but it's very much designed for Commander specifically. Packaging is very interesting, very cheap. It feels very indie, like this might be some small company making it, or it could just be some more, you know, Chinese stuff, especially with that weird name. I'm not going to try and pronounce that. Now, there is one thing on the box that I noticed that I didn't notice whenever I was looking at the product page. So right here, there is a dice tray, a little bit of a spoiler, but it actually comes with dice. Or at least what the box claims. I didn't see that on Amazon. Maybe I was just blind. Very, very possible. I am an idiot. All right, here she is. So up here is the most gimmicky part of this whole thing. You have a life counter built in. It's actually, you know, not as cheap feeling as I thought it would be. Interesting, you can't spin it this way, so you just have these little wheels on the top, and you can only spin them one way, so you can only down spin. Ooh, that one's rough. That one's real hard to turn. Why? These two are, like, clicky and kind of satisfying. Like, these are kind of satisfying to turn. This one is like... Dude, I am, like, cutting lines into my thumb. Oh, it's stuck. There we go. There we go. Yeah, that... Ooh, what is wrong with you? Oh, that one can spin both ways. Okay, we got a broken box. This one can spin both directions, and it is like... I'm using my fingernail to make it easier. Again, oh wait, that one can spin both ways too. Why is this one not wanting to? Oh wait, there we go. There we go. Okay, this takes a bit more force. It's a lot more clicky. Okay, so the mechanisms in this thing kind of suck. But we can open it up. A little bit of force to open. Nothing too terrible. And you might notice the inside's a bit smaller. Well, that's because you actually have right here... my finger in there. Bam! There's our dice tray. Magic dice. Interesting. Not magic. D&D. Close that shut for now. So, does seem a little shallow here, but not terrible. There's our spinny boy mechanisms right there. So it's those little tabs that are actually applying the satisfying clicks as you spin the guy here. But then, yeah, we have a one-touch really in there. Good God. Oh, and a card divider behind it. Interesting. Ooh, it did come pre-warped. Not nice feature, but not that pre-warped. I'm just taking the peel off this one-touch. It doesn't seem to be a branded one-touch. It's not a Ultra Pro or a BCW. Is there not a peel on this side? No, there isn't. Wait, is there? Oh my God, there is. It was just like really hard to find it. Wraps all the way around to the top up here. Yeah, one touch. All right, can we fit double sleeve Commander? Oh, crazy easily. Yeah, there's plenty of room for a double sleeve 100 card deck in here. I don't believe it's gonna work inside of a sleeve. You don't usually use those on one touches. I'm hoping we can keep our inner sleeve though. So let's throw our energy in here. Yep, that works perfectly fine. Then I know I'm touching the inside. I kind of don't care. Yeah, you actually kind of see where I touched it. If I were actually going to use this thing for something, I'd just wipe it off. But bam. So you're... Okay, that was loud. Commander slides in right there. Then you can put your top back on, which just goes on this way. Ooh, okay, you gotta kind of lean the cards. Am I crazy? What am I doing wrong here? What am I doing wrong that this is not wanting to do the thing? Like, these are sitting up really high. Oh, I'm like dumb. I am like stupid. Can I get a comment of someone sucking up to me telling me that they thought the same thing? They go in sideways. it's horizontal. Oh, I am so stupid. To be fair, I always say that on this channel. I'm an idiot. That's the fun of this channel. I figure things out on the fly. I think it's fun anyways. So slide it down, and what do you know? It does fit inside. It feels a little cheap. Again, it's $20. You do get a dice tray with dice. You have a display for your commander, which is the first time that we've had a deck box that comes with a one-touch to display your commander, right? And it has a life counter, which, to be fair, feels kind of wrong. But I imagine you would set it down like that to use this at the desk, I'd assume. Again, mechanisms are kind of inconsistent. it's a very interesting concept. Hey, we could take a look at our little freebie D&D dice. It is weird to come with D&D dice. Do you use D&D dice for Magic? Am I crazy? Am I out of touch? Yep, they're very light. They're definitely pretty cheap, but they have a really interesting pattern to them. Like, they look really good for being, like, again, very light, like, it's hard to express weight, like, for D&D dice, but they work. It's definitely going to be a loud deck box to carry around without there being any kind of, like, padding in there to dampen the sound. I just feel like it's a little weird. You pull that up, then horizontal but vertical, but it does allow it to be a bit more compact, right? It doesn't have to be as tall, because we are doing this vertical thing in order to still fit the dice tray in here. So I kind of get the necessity. The box just feels very bland to me. I feel like if somebody rocks up to your tournament with one of these, this is definitely someone with my kind of brain of function over form. Just kind of having everything that you'll need all in the one box. You have your dice, you have your life counter. Like, it's neat. But before we do the shake test, we actually need to take our commander out of here, because it's time to do a UV test, and wow, it looks like it failed pretty quickly. Yeah. No UV protection. That was my concern. Why I really want to do the UV tests. There are a good number of top loaders and one touches and more premium card, holders that do advertise UV protection. And how quickly this thing lit up, I don't believe that there's actually any UV protection in this guy. So again, I'm not really a Magic guy, but I have to imagine that the commanders tend to be like one of the more valuable cards in your deck, and that's one of the reasons that you want to have them in a more protective case. I would want UV protection, and it's cool that it comes with a one touch, but I don't know if I'd really go with it. Now it gets to go back in upside down. Alright, let's play Hurt JunkSeeker's wrists just a little bit more. Turn this thing up to the max, and... Are the dice tray gonna fall out? The dice tray's holding. Yeah, I don't think these things gonna fall out. Let's do it this way. Let's try to get the dice tray to fall. Alright, I tried that for a long time. That dice tray's not falling. Yeah, it does actually, like, clip in pretty good. Once it gets past this bump, like, it's pretty well held in for the rest of the motion there. Ooh! Okay. So, just going off of pure weight, ignoring the vibration, this guy does certainly seem... Oh, okay, maybe it's because where I gripped it. Okay, it just failed the shake test. How is it passing now? Ooh, it's because I kind of like whipped it. Like, I kind of did that motion with it. Yeah, chance it'll fall open inside of your bag or whatever you're carrying it in. I think it's a pretty low chance, but still a chance. Our only real option is gonna be next to the Magikarp, and that... Yeah, actually, I don't even know if that Magikarp is really fully in there. Okay, I can still zip it. Yeah, that's not gonna happen. It would definitely fit if we took out probably 2 of these. I can probably get this guy in there. If we kind of compare the size right here, yeah, I'd probably have to take out 2 of them. Our last $20 box before we go up to even more expensive things. We have ZLCA card deck box, 130 plus. I'm very curious, and I want you guys to tell me, have you ever heard of ZLCA? Have you ever used one of their products before? Because looking at their Amazon listings, it very much screams generic Amazon brand to me. But the design of this box is actually pretty appealing. The whole thing has this like interesting ripple texture to it. The logo doesn't look bad. They clearly do some social media, but this right here does kind of make me think a little bit less so. This feels like a more established brand, and when you look at their product photos on Amazon, their stuff looks really appealing. And while doing my research, it seemed like this is a brand that I should probably pass up on just because it doesn't seem like they have that much of a footnote in the card game community from what I can find. It just seemed like one of those things that I probably shouldn't pass up. So yes, I did the Aegis and I'm doing ZLCA. I will say this, ZLCA, it's a little bit of a weird name. And you're not really selling yourself here with the card deck box. and the window into nothing. But I did go with this pretty cool looking black and purple design with pull our Aegis back out. So definitely taller than our Aegis, but it is not as wide. However, it does also have a window. So let's open this guy up here, another little wrap, and bam, very nice looking inner here. They do specifically call this microfiber on theirs. We do have card dividers, one of which is branded. That's kind of interesting. A lot of the times, like we've been seeing, it's like a business card kind of deal or just like a paper insert. That's not a bad idea, just to put your branding on the card divider, and then still give them 2 card dividers without it, so if they don't like that, they can just throw it away. But yeah, ZLCA, thank you. That's interesting. Neat little note right here. Kind of, the email's a little concerning at 163.com. That's a little funny to me. But okay. Are they pre-warped? Yes, they're a little bit pre-warped. Hell yeah. So you're probably looking at this going, okay, that's a dice tray, right? Where's the tab? How do I get my fingy in there? Well, you don't. You fold it, it's cool. Okay, that was the selling feature for me. This whole part comes out, and of course this part is still solid attached. That's neat to me, okay? I'm easy to entertain. So yeah, only ones from one side, and I will say it is double-walled. I'm a big fan of these double walls. It makes things more, more structural integrity. It's a little hard to tell when just looking at this which side it opens from. Oh wait, it does open for both. Okay, so it does come completely off. The magnets are just really strong. 2 magnets, it's looking like. And yeah, just the little dice tray could also work for rolling dice without them falling off the table for, maybe more D&D focused kind of deal. Yeah, really cool little dice tray, completely separate from the box, so you could have that on the side. I think that's part of the reason why it does remove. So you can just have that sitting on the desk, right? And it can also work as like a graveyard or whatever else. It does fit cards inside. Does make me wonder, and I'm assuming no, but can it just fit a 60 card sleeve deck in there? Ooh, you know what? With how strong those magnets are, it can. Okay, you could do a whole 60 card deck in there. That's actually kind of cool. I would probably stick the dice. It does with the added weight. I don't know how much I trust those magnets. I feel like, it's not designed for it, but I imagine, yeah, you can already see it's coming out. But you can. I just wouldn't, but you can. So they are claiming 130 plus, which I could believe. That's a very large opening. Let's go ahead and slide our cards inside, and yeah, okay, I could believe another 30 maybe. Yeah, probably. Those are double sleeve. I forgot to mention this earlier, by the way. Anytime that you do have like one of these, like I really like that deck box, but there's too much room for the kind of decks that I do. Maybe you just do like 60 with single sleeve, right? Gamegenic thing here. You squeeze it and you could slide it in here. I should mention this way earlier in the video, but you can slide it in and it keeps your cards nice and flat. Also, over time, it kind of breaks the air gaps out of them, and it kind of helps flatten out your deck, too. Makes it a bit more stable and take up less space. Like, stable when they're all, like, stacked up on the desk. But yeah, very interesting design, and we do have another one-touch here. Looks a bit more, plain than the other, but, yeah, very, very plain-looking one-touch. It looks like it has more space. Can that actually fit, like, a sleeve card? Yeah, as a protection nerd, I'm actually super happy. That is a double-sleeved card, and it just barely fits inside. It's not being pinched. Okay, protection nerd me, like, brain is super, super happy with that. I don't know if I'd go double sleeve and a one-touch. I'd probably just do one, but the fact that you can do a double sleeve or an outer sleeve like that is actually super cool. And bam, there is our commander. Let's go ahead and throw our dice in the dice tray. Where did I put the lid? It's somewhere, I'm sure. Somehow it ended up on the floor next to me. Oh yeah, I sit on the floor whenever I film these videos, by the way. My legs are usually dead by the end of these long ones. Can we just like tuck it? Yeah, we can actually just slide it in there without having to take the lid off. Yeah, I'm happy with this guy. This is actually really cool. Will the dice tray fall out? Will the dice? Come on, dice tray. Come on, you wanna. No, it's actually holding. Vibrating box go brrr. I feel like that dice tray wants to come out. I feel like it wants to. I am kind of dampening the vibration by holding the box. Ooh. Oh, we're seeing a little bit more of it start to slide out. Okay, it's been about a minute now. I think it was going to fall out it would have. I still think it would fall out, but it would take a lot more time. That packet's not as tight as some of the other boxes that we've been experiencing up until now. But I do think with this, like, trifold, I still don't think it's gonna come undone, like, at all. But we'll do it for the sake of integrity. I will say this material it's made out of definitely dampens some of the vibration. It's a lot quieter than a lot of the ones we've dealt with up until now. But it's also really heavy. I'm calling it good. Big steel box, man. Alright, let's hope for UV protection. With how generic this thing looks, I have my doubts. Yeah, it lit up immediately. Look at that. No time at all. I know that they're generic and you could use your own one-touches, but if it comes with them, you'd expect to be able to use them. And obviously you can use them, but hey, Magic guys out there, tell me, if your deck that you are currently running right now, if the commander in it looked like this, how much value are you losing out on? It's an extreme example, but still. Again, another one that would fit if I took out a wall, but I'd have to take out a wall and obviously like 2 deck boxes to get this big boy to go in there. Alright, we are finally nearing the end. I'll take my gloves off. With only 2 more deck boxes to go, both over the $20 mark. Then we have a little miscellaneous category to dive into. With actually 6 boxes to look at, but we're not going to be going as thorough on them. We are jumping up all the way from $20 to $28 with Mage Tech. Now, this one feels a little bit like Aegis and a little bit like ZLCA, I think it was? Yeah, like Zilka. And the fact that it does kind of feel like another like Amazon brand kind of deal. But once again, product photos and stuff made this look really cool to me. And I really just wanted to check this one out. Again, we're looking at... Another reason why I'm saying like Amazon brand for a lot of these. If this was in a store, would you buy it? Like, this box is really not advertising to you at all, man. This is all you get to see of it, too. So when I say Amazon brand, I mean, this box is not really meant for a store. But Mage Tech Commander's Choice, I believe, is actually the name of this deck box. Yeah, we're doing another Commander deck box. I know, I'm sorry, Pokemon people. I got this one in white because white and red is just like my favorite color scheme. And look at this white and red. It looks so clean, man. Like, if I'm playing like an RPG or something and you can like change your clothing, that tends to be my default. But once again, we're looking at one flap. Oh, kind of nice branding there. Let's show it to the comparables, the Aegis and the ZLCA for sizing here. Once again, it's going to be wider than that guy. I think these two are basically the same size. It's a little bit thinner. It's a little... Oh, you can't really see it. It's a little bit thinner than our ZLCA. Slightly shorter, but almost impossible to tell the difference in that. Yeah, unbelievably comparable in size. I'd say every dimension of this guy, of the Mage Tech, is just, every dimension is very slightly smaller than that. But we flip this one up, and what do you know? There's a dice tray. Ooh, you open, oh, look at you, buddy. You can hit him with one of those. You can hit him with one of these. That actually, that's the marketing images right there. Really gotta hit him with that horizontal deck. Now, do you come with free dice? Oh, where are my free dice at? So no kind of clips to hold this guy in. We're looking at the same mic. Ooh, very smooth. Very smooth going that way. Kind of rough going up and down. But I will say, for no kind of clasp or anything, just the machining here, well, not really machining, but you get what I mean. That fits in there super tight just by friction alone. Like, that guy has some force. That's not coming out by itself. So we have our deck box. Ooh, a little thing on the divider. Ooh, what's this? What is this little thing? Wow, I'm so excited to read this. It's a bunch of warnings. What are you warning me about? Small parts? Where? What in this can a child choke on? The card divider? Ooh, we'll get back to that. Contains small magnets. Brother, you gotta cut them open to get to them. Pacemaker warning again because of the magnets. Product is not a toy. Brother, it's a deck box. Let's be honest with ourselves here. But big fan of that, honestly. It's not really necessary, but it does make it easier to get your deck or whatever. Once again, we do have a... Oh my god, so many paperwork things in here. I want to point out this card divider. Look at this guy. It's made out of the same material as the box, or at least very similar. It has a little embossing in here. It's actually kind of thick. It's double layered. Like, this is like a really thick... This is the best card divider I've ever seen, and... I don't think it came pre-warped. I might have warped it there. No, my Absol fell, buddy. Oh, I don't have any notes on the capacity advertised. Does it not? Let me go look at the list. Okay, it's 100 plus. Oh, we gotta do the marketing pose. Hold on, how do they do that? Yeah, there's the marketing. They have a photo of it doing that. It kind of springy. I'm loving the material on the inside of this. Like, it's so smooth in one direction, a little bit rough in the other. All right, 100 plus, let's check. Our biggest deck, the 100 card double sleeve. Wow. Buddy, you're underselling yourself on what this thing can fit. Oh, it's going to be horizontal. Whoops. Okay, well, maybe not. Let's find out. All right, you are not underselling yourself. That does fit with a little bit of gap. So, yeah, you're not underselling. Yeah, 100 plus kind of makes sense. You can do like 110 plus if you really wanted to, but really bad for searchability. And then kind of our thick divider right there with a little bit of pickup, right? It sticks up a little bit, a little hard to pinch, but you could do it. But then, of course, Commander focused. You don't have to be doing Magic Command. Ooh, it's white. That's actually cool. It fits the box itself. I wonder if they do that for all of their colorways. Warning, warning, no babies. So it does kind of come with a Commander already inside for us. And yeah, there's our one touch. I'm a big fan of them staying on the color branding. This is just the color that I chose. It comes with a lenticular magic token, and it's sleeved, and it's one of these textured sleeves. I used to use these guys all the time. Like, these feel so good. My Final Fantasy cards, like, not Magic the Gathering, like Final Fantasy. I like to buy these sleeves specifically for them. That's okay. Nice little inclusion. But yeah, it comes with a lenticular magic token. That's cool, man. I'm keeping this too. Pretty thick little card. Yeah, that's sick. I'm easily entertained, okay? OCD, ADHD, I don't know what it is, but I got it. All right, nothing has passed this test so far. Maybe Mage Tech can be the ones that do it. Hold on, Mage Tech. You see how long that's taken to transition? There is UV protection in this. This is a pretty powerful UV light. My wife uses this for resin projects. I stole it from her. I actually put a brand new battery in it before starting this. Is it 100% UV protected? No, but look at how long it took. This is the first one to actually have some level of UV protection. I'm actually... Mage Tech, you are selling me on your brand right now. And it does pretty comfortably fit a double-sleeved card. Like, again, I'm a fan. Fold this thing shut and we got... Oh, wait, no, hold on. Can't forget our dice. Like, this is just really cool to me. Again, you don't have to be playing Commander. You could do a 60-card double sleeve in here or a single sleeve, whatever else you want to do. And then fill the space. So, Pokemon people, just because it's Commander doesn't mean you have to use it for a Commander. You could even possibly do 2 single sleeves, maybe even 2 doubles. Well, you could definitely do 2 single sleeves. Maybe just, maybe you could do 2 doubles. And then split them in half, carry 2 decks inside of this guy, and keep a favorite card right here, right? I'm also a fan of the dice tray being actually enclosed behind the flap. That's a really nice touch. When we're talking going up in price points, we expect things to get more premium. Again, this is $8 over the last section we just went through. We went from $20 to $28. So I would expect this to beat out all of the others, and my god, does it. We're gonna do the thing, but again, with how much this thing folds over and all of the magnets along the way, I'm not even gonna do the vibration test, man. I'm sold on this guy. Like, you have the magnets there on the front, and you also have magnets on that part. Like, fine, we'll do it. I'm gonna get yelled at. As I mentioned earlier, I am a BCW simp, but I'm starting to become a Mage Tech simp from a single deck box. BCW, do a premium one. I want to see what you can do. Anyways, vibrate. And yeah, it's fun to hold it back there. I mean, it's definitely shaking around our commander a good amount, but it's gonna hold, man. I'm just doing this for the 2 people that would yell at me for not doing it. Alright, those 2 people should be satisfied. Now, I'm sure there are some people who prefer to not have an outer sleeve on their, their one-touched card, but in that case, you could just swap it out. But, I'm a protection nerd. I'm a fan of the fact that they do that, like... And the fact that it's on brand with the box. Like, that's just cold. Oh yeah, and the fact that that's just separate. So once again, you can roll dice in there if you're playing with more limited space. But no free dice, so it's a 1-star for me. Obviously, it's not going to fit, but again, either take out a wall or... Yeah, if we took out both those walls, we could fit between these deck boxes here. And just in this pocket alone, that's still 5 deck boxes, including this big boy, which to me would be worth it, because this thing is awesome. But... as is, there's not really any room. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not some rich YouTuber. In fact, I am trying to get by. So when it comes to the large video projects like this, I wish somebody like BCW would sponsor me. At the same time, though, I want to take a sponsor on a video where I'm comparing their own product, right? Like, it's cool that they sent something to me for free, but I wouldn't let them sponsor this. All that is to say, one of the most recommended deck boxes that I could find online when I'm searching for, like, people on Reddit and stuff being like, what deck box do you use? Probably the most recommended one as, like, the gold standard happens to be our last one, the most expensive. And it was over the price point I was willing to pay for this video. But I decided to pull the trigger because, again, I feel like I'd be doing this video a disservice if I didn't pick it up. It's not crazy expensive for a singular deck box, but it is when you consider all of the other money put into this video. We have the Dragon Shield Nest 100. So we went from $20 to a $28 box. Now we're at a $36 box. And I'll be honest, I simp for Dragon Shield sealable sleeves. I have for a long time. In fact, usually the first link, well, the only link in my description of my videos for my Amazon link takes you right to their sealable sleeves. Like, that is the Amazon link default that I use. I don't really do anything else Dragon Shield. It's mostly just the sealable sleeve. Also, their branding's just kind of weird. This whole, like, lore right here. Like, do they have their own, like, lore universe? What is this? What is this about? Tell me about your box. I don't need your lore dump. But this is the one that people would not shut up about online. And I was just like, I have to cover it. It feels super basic. Yes, it does feel premium, but basic premium. And maybe that's the point, is that it isn't, they don't have some big gimmick. It just, it sits quietly, right? Like, it does what you want it to do without feeling like the thing on the table to grab the attention, if you get what I mean. Sometimes what you want out of an accessory is to not actually ever think about that accessory. I guess what the best way to describe it is a lot of the deck boxes you've looked at so far have been like building a PC with a bunch of LEDs. And this is the sleeper build with none of the LED rainbow vomit. So it feels fine. Very interesting texture to it. So we have these little dots, and the way I understand it is you're supposed to kind of pull from those, maybe? Huh. I'm sorry about the shaking. I guess I'm getting hungry. Oh, speaking of, ooh, dinner. So here it is. Your deck goes in here, and you have a dice tray. I would argue too small to really be rolling in, but you could. But you're just gonna be using it to store your dice. Slide that in, and we have our dice tray. Now again, this cover would normally block it, but yes, it will fall out if you don't have the cover on. We have another microfiber-like material, less smooth than the Mage Tech, but still feels pretty good. Oh, they even bothered to do it on the top there. Nice attention to detail. Double-walled, always a huge upside. Not much flex, again. Oh, I felt a bit of a crunch on that one. Yeah, a little bit of flex. Then we have this weird back piece, and they kind of advertise, like, it's modular. You can do this with it, which is fair, right? You can get your lid completely out of the way. Like, that's probably how most people are gonna want to use this thing. Just keep the lid out of sight. It just wraps around the rest of the deck box. You could go a bit more fancy with it if you really wanted to, so you can almost have like your dice tray pulled out right there, still sitting on it. I don't really know why you would, but it gives you a little bit of modularity, a little bit of stuff you can do. You're gonna figure out how you like it, and you're just gonna do that forever. I imagine for 99.9% of people, it's just doing this. Set it and forget it, right? Now, I do believe it's 100 plus, right? Yes, it's actually kind of weird because it says Nest plus 100, but it does say 100 plus on the listing. So let's see, a 100 Commander deck here, double sleeved. Oh, well, kind of struggling here. Again, I shouldn't be trying to do all of them in one go, especially while I'm sitting on the floor. It's a bit of a weird angle. Ooh, pretty tight, to be honest with you. Like, it looks like there's a bit of room in there. There really isn't. It's a little tight. It was a little hard to get them all in. In fact, this one at the back is actually still sticking up. There we go. A little tight to get them all in, but it does look kind of nice when they're in. You're not going above 100 on this. You are not triple sleeving if you're doing a Commander deck. You're not doing more than that. But dice tray inside, it's kind of perfect. So we kind of have to pull on the cards a little bit to get that to separate. And yeah, those circles actually says on the box, that's where they want you to grab it from. So put this back on top like that, and there we go. Or closed up deck box. It's thin, it holds 100 double-sleeved cards, it fits your dice inside, it really doesn't take up much space at all. I can see why this would be a standard. I don't get the price tag, though. So yeah, it says to grip by the circles and pull it apart. That like launched off. That's a lot of force. I don't know if I would really follow their instructions. I'd more so just grip it like this and kind of pull it out. Like, again, more like a hinge. Use like a little bit of a fulcrum. Also, yeah, because of the magnets, you can actually kind of do that. I don't know why you would, but you can. Oh, I lied to you. That was 99 cards. My god, what if it can't actually fit the last card? And so, I know some are upside down now. Shut up. Yeah, I mean, again, it's real tight. You can kind of see the way that it's kind of bowing out like this. Like, it is pretty tight fitting your 100 cards in there. That might be a turn-off for some people. I'd be okay with it personally, but some people are more OCD than me somehow. Yeah, it works. I think it is a very solid box, like very solid. I don't get the price point on it, man. Again, if I'm just buying one deck box, I'm going to tournaments all the time. Paying $36 is like, it can be worth it, right? Like, I'm not saying that it in isolation is a bad deal. I just feel like compared to its competition. All right, so we're gonna hold it by the actual box itself, letting the cards apply weight to the lid half. Get our vibrating going. I don't think it's gonna have any problems. Again, there are actually 2 layers of magnets that it's holding on to. Again, anything above a $10 price point, I would expect to pass this kind of deal. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's not going anywhere. It's actually really hard to take apart. Like, especially doing their method, like grab the circles. Like, dude, grabbing the circles is like actually like kind of a pain. But I'm also dealing with weakened body right now because I need to get food. Yeah, I like it. Again, I think it's really solid. I think if they could bring the price down, even $6 down to 30, I'd say it's a lot more acceptable. If they could bring it down to like 25, I would recommend it. But personally, again, you're talking to a moron here. Form your own opinions. But personally, $25 is where I'd be happy with it. Maybe these materials that they use, like this material here, kind of like scale, like this, like, you know, microfiber here with a good amount of magnets. Maybe it's considered like a higher quality, more premium, but like, I don't know, man. It's got some squish to it. Like, it doesn't really feel that much better than the other things. I personally cannot justify that price point. And maybe it is cheaper other places, but on Amazon, it's $36. But it is the most not-in-your-face thing at a tournament, so I'll give them that. It's quality without being overly flashy. It's like my stepdad, who absolutely hates ratcheting screwdrivers. I handed him a ratcheting screwdriver once, and he was like, why don't you have a regular screwdriver? That's who this deck box is for. You know what? I might be able to get this slender guy in here. Obviously, we're done in this compartment. We can go ahead and zip it up. It might be a little tight because of the... Yeah, it works, even with those deck boxes crammed in there. Oh, no. Would it work if I took out that Magikarp? Could I, like, fit it in here sideways? Oh, it's real tight. Oh, it fits. I think it's worth it just to, you know, fit a larger thing in here as opposed to just the Magikarp. So what is that, 3 in that pocket? And bam. Okay, one short meal break later, we are now in what I am calling the miscellaneous category, and there's a reason I'm showing you both of these boxes at once. They're both made by the same company, believe it or not, and this one might look a little familiar, maybe not necessarily in pink. I actually have had this for a very long time, I don't even remember where it came from. But, might notice the price tag up here. That's because it's really up in the air. Why is this in the miscellaneous category? Well, this might look a little familiar to you. This is Legion, and you can tell it's an older box I've had for a long time. Microfiber stuff in here, 2 magnets, does the foldy thing, and it fits 100 double-sleeved cards. It has a very interesting pattern. Well, I believe this is from their Dragon Hide line of boxes, and they did other things in this like Dragon Hide thing as well. If you've been doing TCG stuff for a long time, you should probably recognize this. That's because Legion was pretty popular back in the day, and I remember an LGS that I used to go to that rather ironically shut down. they carried a lot of Legion stuff. And I remember just seeing these things all over the place, and now you never really hear about them. So I decided to see if I couldn't find that online, and no. I found people selling similar things by Legion on eBay, some of them for kind of crazy prices. But what I did find was Legion actually still has an Amazon account. I didn't actually think it was them at first, because they're called Legion Supplies, but turns out that was always Legion's full name, is Legion Supplies. And what they're selling on there are, like, sleeves, which actually they have these ones that are actually like the same pattern here. And then they have very generic, cheap-looking paper deck boxes. And that's kind of about it. Well, I did some research, and turns out in 2022, they were bought out by Ultra Pro, and it kind of seems like Ultra Pro is just slowly killing the brand. Now, if you go to their website, it looks like this. It closed right now. But I have reason to believe it wasn't always like that. See, I found a Reddit post from about 7 months ago that is showing somebody trying to check out on the site, and it was glitching out, which means that the site wasn't closed 7 months ago. But then Ultra Pro also has this article. And in this article, they're kind of, it's for like distributors, like, you know, if you're running like a card store and you want to get supplies, you know, like wholesale, here's how you contact all of their brands. And again, only a month ago, and they're still listing Legion as one of the brands that you can buy from. So from what I can tell, Legion isn't dead, and they might be trying to plan some big revival of the Legion brand. And I definitely think this Dragon High, Dragon Scale stuff would still do really well, and it's a very solid deck box. Like, this is all actually like kind of textured, it's again double walled, like it's good quality, and I believe it was never really that expensive. So the thing that I get the most interesting is Ultra Pro owns another brand called MTG Pro Shop, which if you're a Magic the Gathering person, you've probably visited that site before. They sell officially licensed Magic the Gathering merchandise, clothing, playmats, stuff like this. They sell officially licensed Magic stuff. It's a little bit confusing, but no, Ultra Pro actually does not own that brand. Legion Supplies owns Magic the Gathering Pro Shop. And then Ultra Pro owns Legion Supplies. And they are still very much around. They are still very much running their business. When it's just part of Legion. It almost makes me wonder if Ultra Pro didn't buy out Legion because of MTG Pro Shop, and not necessarily for the Legion brand itself. I hope that they're not killing it, and there's a good chance that they are, but we might see Legion make a return eventually. So then, why is this one on here? Well, I did $10 because I found one person that sold this for $10 on eBay. Well, this was from the Blue Ridge Regional Championships. And you can see right here, custom, manufactured by Legion Supplies Inc. I guess they did a service where you could make your own custom graphics, and they would print it onto a deck box. It's a Velcro deck box, but this was done for the Blue Ridge National Championships. I ended up getting this thing from, I don't even remember. Yeah, Dark Moon Cards and Games is actually where I bought it from. I guess that was like a thing that they went to at one point, but they're a vendor who goes to a con that I go to. But it's kind of cool that Legion has this like thing where you could have custom-made deck boxes, and I'm sure there are still companies out there that do it, but it's the only one that I know of. I just think it'd be cool to see them return. This was like an iconic thing for me growing up with like old Magic the Gathering and Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh! Like seeing these things everywhere, and I didn't really come across my brain that, man, it's kind of rare to find this stuff nowadays. All of that is to say, keep an eye out. They might end up releasing some interesting stuff if they are planning a revival. And the last thing I wanted to mention, we kind of went over some of the more interesting topics. The idea of going to, like, more, like, third-party, more bootleg kind of stuff, right? Rather it's basically white-labeled stuff on Amazon, or you're talking, like, more Chinese platforms like Temu and AliExpress. Can be great options, but there's another. Well, I guess the other one would also be like free deck boxes that just come with things. We have this guy, and we have this guy, and this one, and this one. 3D printing. If you have a 3D printer and you want a good deck box, there are probably some really solid designs out there that are free to download and use, or at the very least, cheap to download and just print off yourself. But you could also hire someone to do it for you, or go on Etsy. These two were actually Etsy prints, and this one's actually kind of unique. You have like a locking design right here, and then it slips off to, you know, your deck, so you can close it shut, and bam. This one would definitely pass the shaking test and not come apart in your backpack. These two were actually made by a person who sells things through my LGS. This was the original design right here. It was kind of crappy. This isn't meant to come out, but it does. It's also really tight, but you can't really do, like, you know, sleeved cards. Like, even single sleeves will not fit inside of this guy. So then, Model 2 happened, and now, yeah, you can do some sleeves in here. I kind of hate this blank space. I almost think they could do something with that, like open that up, like, you know, throw your dice in there or something. But with 3D printing and magnets, you can do very customizable stuff if you have like a specific need or want out of a deck box. This one's actually my personal favorite because you can actually put a coin in either side of this. It is a little annoying when it comes to opening it to line up this ring right here. You can kind of see where it splits apart on both sides. So you just twist the ring to line it up, then go to the other side and twist it to line it up. And then, oh wow, it's kind of gotten loose, hasn't it? And yeah, you have these little cutouts where you can store your coins. So you just slide that one in there, and then go in here, slide this in here. And you have this like kind of cutout for the thing. Obviously these are hyper specific and you have to go hunting for these things, but I'm more so just showing it as an example of if you have a 3D printer or access to one, or are willing to just pay someone to print something for you. Like, you could open CAD and make your own, you know, like 3D printed deck boxes to fulfill whatever need you might have, and still likely not pay the same premiums that you saw with some of the later deck boxes that we were looking at. I'm very interested to see some of these innovations that can come about from 3D printing being done in things that aren't necessarily 3D printed, or even being done at a higher quality. A box like this being taken on by someone who wants to have really, you know, good quality things, could almost rubberize the outside of this, right? And then open it up, and they could do like a microfiber liner on the inside by making it a bit larger as well. Like, you know, seeing like this kind of locking design, or like the coin holder design in that other one, being put into even more premium products. Like, it'd be cool to see what other companies can do by kind of learning from what we're doing in the 3D printing space. Not just companies, individuals as well. Okay, I think only one of those has a shot of going somewhere, and that's this thin one. But man, I really think we are done for. I can try and set it right here, just on top, but I have a feeling that is not gonna work. Come on, come on. Oh my god, it actually fit. There is no way that actually fit inside. That is wild. And all of this is with the playmat sleeve, so I'm not using that little side compartment at all. And with this one being taken up by a pretty thick amount of space by this mostly full portfolio here. That's wild. So we have 3 in there, 4, 5, good god, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, oh, it's not 19 because we already counted those. We got 19 of the deck boxes to fit in here. Let's stand this bad boy up real quick. And it still stands. I guess everything in here is kind of blocky. Kind of makes sense it could stand. I don't know. This is actually pretty sick. BCW has it listed as being able to carry 7 to 9 Prism deck boxes. I think they need to update their page and say it'll fit 19 deck boxes of varying sizes. Because I'm sure there's nothing else you would want to actually put inside of this when you're going to tournaments and traveling and all that. So again, I'm going to have a link for this directly to their site, unless they want me to send you guys somewhere else. But again, nothing here is sponsored. They didn't even ask me to link to this, but I'm going to shoot them an email and see if just leading to their site works for them. If you guys want to check this thing out. It comes in various different colors, but I think they wanted to send it to me because this is like a new colorway. So if you're like a big like Evangelion fan, or maybe like the Joker, then it's kind of a good color scheme. But that is officially every single deck box in this video. But technically we still have one more to go over. More so to open up, because now it is time for the bonus card of the day. Explanation is going to be right down there in the bottom left corner, as always. Pulling a card from the back, playing Guess the Year. Kind of a blue, transparent sleeve here. Looking for any signs of damage. We have a little bit of whitening. This guy's a little beat, a little faded. I'm gonna go... It is pretty faded. right? Or am I crazy? I'm gonna go back pretty far. It's like 2009. We have, oh, 2000. Okay, well, I tend to not go far enough back on some of the more vintage stuff. We have a Hollow Ampharos from one of the Neo series, I think, right there? I don't remember. I'm not perfect with my set symbols. Either way, it's just another classic vintage card that I wanted to add to my collection. Nothing super crazy, but, you know what, actually, I don't even think I had this one as a child. I don't think, I was gonna say, it might have been a childhood card. I don't think it is. It's just a really neat holo to add on to my old collection. Of course, we'll be going in a better sleeve later. I feel like I'm kind of rushing things now. Let's go to Studio Man, who can kind of outro things properly. Oh my god, you guys made it through the 2 hours. Welcome to my channel, guys. I some of my videos are 10 minutes, but most of them are not. This was a massive project, and again, massive thanks to BCW for sending me that backpack, because legitimately, it was because of them in contacting me that I was like, oh, it's meant to hold deck boxes. Like, people want me to do videos on more, like, specific things. Why don't I just do a video on deck boxes? Also, I'm saying that backpack when I literally put it underneath me just to, like, hold up on camera if I felt like it was necessary. It is actually really heavy with all the things I have in there. Even though there's not, like, raw cards aside from the portfolio. This thing is actually kind of sick. I think I failed to mention that it's like a new color that isn't released yet, like the purple and green, and so they have it released in other colors, but I think this releases in like a month. I do like covering accessories and stuff, but I think whenever I do a topic like this on like deck boxes, I don't see it being something that I do another dedicated video to again. Maybe in a couple years I'll change my mind. I just think it's kind of a fun thing to do, to try out something new. I'm still probably going to be doing those, like, just TCG accessory videos by themselves, buying from different platforms. Amazon again, Temu again, AliExpress, whatever. But specifically dedicated to something like, I don't know, deck boxes. I don't know if I'll necessarily dive into it again. This was a massive undertaking, and I hope it does well. But luckily, thanks to this list of amazing people, I don't have to worry as much about videos doing well. Thank you to my YouTube channel members. This is the second time in recent memory where I butchered reading the list, and I'm doing a retake. Pokey J, Obsidian, Smokey the Sun, Andrew B, Bod, Reed, Kitty, Health 21, Lana C, Kiss of Ember, Lycan, Car, Reese, Play One, Obsidian Panther, Neffable, Hunter Mosquito, Lenky B, Crispy Demon Duck, Ocarina 369, Wonderbread, Cold Drip Gaming, Dawson Sheeny Brewster, Ugor, Most Modest, Goaty, That's All Girl, Psycho Panda, Misha, Emma, Keith, Wounds Do, Amon VT, Alexandria Fiend, Lenny Pop, Pogo Heather Lou, Pikachu, God Doesn't Link, Cosmic Cards for Tobit, Ben A, Turzo, Kaiser Wilhelm, Moakley TV, Corey, Borisu, Javoy, Nicky Poo 42, Stephen Void, Backyard Nature Player, Foxy, Cassifier, Sir Spam Alike, Kentaro H, Simon Garfield, Anamiko, King Standing, Bicar, Michael Breeding, Video Game Junkie, Brave Aquana, and Veno Plunk. If you guys want to check out some more content, right over here is going to be a playlist of all of my Pokemon videos. If you're interested in Pokemon and you feel like binging, it probably needs to get updated again. Underneath that is going to be one of my card accessory videos. I'll probably do the Amazon one. Then right over here is going to be a link to the community Discord if you feel like joining in. Thank you all very much for watching, and hopefully I will see all of you next time. Goodbye for now.